So, Switch 2 talk, backwards compatibility. This has been a topic for a while now, and instead of just sitting there and ranting to myself, I thought I'm just gonna record this rant. So RGT85, he's been talking about this. He's leaning to the side that there is definitely a possibility that Nintendo wouldn't do it, and that he might even lean little bit towards that makes more sense, that they wouldn't do it, or that they are probably considering not doing it, or whatever you want to say. Personally, I think I get where he's coming from. There is definitely some legitimacy to that train of thought. Nintendo has previously not done backwards compatibility, and the Switch is proof of that, right? Switch to Wii U, there's no backwards compatibility. They could have done it in some way, shape, or form, but they just said, hey, different medium, we want to get rid of this old infrastructure maybe anyways, maybe something towards that. Whatever the reason is, you can't play Wii U games digitally or physically on your Switch, right? So the fears are definitely legitimate, but I think that's also ignoring a lot of other factors in this scenario. Probably the biggest scenario is that whatever this next Switch is very, very likely to just keep the format. And RGT has been saying on a podcast recently with Destructoid that Nintendo's not going to put two different slots into that new hardware, that new Switch, to just support the old Switch cards, game cards. Because, Jeff Grubb says it's a game card, not a game cartridge, whatever. To which I say, yes, it's a game card. It's different to what happened with the Game Boy Advance to the DS, because with the DS they switched from cartridges to game cards, so they had to accommodate for that. They had to put a little bit of an extra thing, an extra hole, whatever you want to call it, to have a space for your GBA games, which they didn't have to do for the DS to the 3DS, which I think this is more likely the scenario that we're in. We're in a scenario from DS to 3DS, not a scenario from Game Boy Advance to DS, which means they're probably just going to be having one card slot where you can put in your old Switch games and your new Switch, whatever the next Switch is games. They're just probably going to add some kind of notch to the newer games, so you can't put them into the old hardware, which is probably the bigger concern Nintendo had back then, rather than differentiating them just look-wise or whatever. They just didn't want you to think that you could put your 3DS cartridges in the card. I'm making that mistake. Your 3DS cards into your DS. That's why they differentiated, and they could easily do this again. So I think that's probably the easiest thing to just dismiss what he said, and it was just a small thing he said in the podcast. It's not in his video, it wasn't like a big deal or anything. The other stuff that I think is even bigger is Day 1 Switch 2. What are you gonna buy? Sure, they could just in that perspective, what RGT excuse me, what RGT is claiming is, hey, they can just sell you back Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. They have done it before. They could do it again. What is stopping them? Nothing is stopping them, and I'm convinced they at least thought of it. But I think if you follow the money, which RGT also says, follow the money. If you follow the money, then the money goes to, they're gonna allow you to just bring over your games. Why? Because they want you to open up the eShop on day 1 and find hundreds of games to spend your money on. They don't want you to buy the Switch 2 and open it and there is Snipper Clips 2. That makes no sense to me. I don't know. The other thing is, it's the graph. Yes, look at this graph. Look at this Nintendo graph. To cover RGT's cover of a great song. I don't know if it's great. So yeah, the graph. I think the graph, RGT is right. First of all, the graph doesn't prove backwards compatibility at all. The only thing that it proves is that you're gonna carry over your Nintendo account, which we could have thought of. But I think it also represents something else. It represents that you're gonna take over your NSO subscription or whatever, Nintendo Online subscription, whatever they're gonna call it in the future. Now, to me, it doesn't make sense that you're just gonna take over your subscription and you're gonna keep paying them for NSO Plus, and then you're gonna lose all your benefits with the next generation. What I mean by that is like, am I gonna keep paying I mean, it's a yearly subscription, so in the middle of the year there's better hardware, and I'm gonna buy that, and I'm gonna open the eShop, and like half the stuff I've been paying for is missing. Does that make sense? What I mean by that is like, am I gonna open the Switch to download Splatoon 2, not be able to download Splatoon 2 or whatever, and not have the OXO expansion? Like, that's just gonna be poof, gone. Or like, let's say they repackage Mario Kart 8 Deluxe again with the booster course pack. So I'm gonna get the new Switch, and that content that I've been getting with the what's it called, NSO Plus, is just poof, gone. What? The entire thing is that value, that they're gonna create value that's gonna be carrying over, so you keep subscribing, so that's just gonna vanish, poof, in thin air, gone. I don't think so. I think what they're gonna do, what makes sense, is they're gonna keep you subscribed to NSO. They're gonna have you carry over your benefits, which is the easiest part, are the emulated games, which I think RGT said something like that. Like, they're gonna just carry over the games, and you're gonna keep being subscribed to NSO. And you're gonna... I'm losing my train of thought because I got a message. What did I say? Yeah, this is one take. I'm not editing. I'm not a YouTuber at all. Not a Nintendo YouTuber. Not a YouTuber at all. How long has this been going? A while. Okay, 7 minutes. Damn. So you're just gonna buy this makes sense. This is what RGT has been saying. You're gonna get the new Switch. You're gonna get NSO, the apps, the NES app, the SNES app, all the way throughout the N64 app, probably N64, Genesis, and GBA combined in the $40 tier, and the others in the $20 tier. And that's it. That's all you're getting with the new Switch. That's what the graph. I'm still on the graph, by the way. That's what the graph means. No, to me, the graph also means you're gonna get cloud saves, and you're gonna get the other benefits. You're gonna get the Mario Kart 8 DLC, and you're gonna get the Animal Crossing DLC. That's not just gonna stay on the old Switch. Of course it's not. The graph is telling us that. But how are they gonna carry over? Are they just gonna sell you Animal Crossing again as a next generation version and Mario Kart 8 without the DLC? Are they gonna exclude the DLC for the next generation version, and you gotta subscribe to NSO? It's just too big of a fuck you to the consumer. It's kind of my point, and that's something RGT has pointed out with Mario Kart 8. It's the best-selling game on Switch right now. It's also on Wii U. They could have just let us play, maybe I think his point is like, it's an old game. Why would they just not take the opportunity to repeat that whole process? I think it's numbers. I think it's kind of ignoring that how poorly the Wii U has sold. If Nintendo flips the bird to the 8 million people that bought Mario Kart 8 on the Wii U, that's a different story than them flipping the bird to the 50 million people that bought the game on the Switch. It's just, you can get away with pissing off a install base of 12 million, but I don't think they can get away with pissing off 120 million, an install base of 120 million. They're gonna wanna keep those people, and they're gonna wanna carry those people off over as smoothly as possible. And the PS5 is showing that. For the PS5, backwards compatibility has been a tremendous contributor to the success of that console. People are still buying PS4 games on the PS5, and I think Nintendo wants that same effect. They want you to buy the new Switch and day one be able to keep buying Switch games. Yeah, I think it's just that easy. I think there is definitely also what the whole thing that started this. I think I haven't mentioned it yet. Maybe in a different version of this. And this video has been pretty long. This rant has been a bit long. I'm not a YouTuber. The person that started all of this was MVG, and the technical hurdles that Nintendo has to overcome for the Switch 2 to be fully backwards compatible. I think, yes, it's probably not going to be easy. And the solutions... Yeah, I think there is two possible solutions, right? Either they put a Tegra X1 into the new Switch somehow, or I think this is something that Doc Trey is. It's not something new, but recently I've been seeing it on Doc Trey 81's channel. Shoutouts. He's been saying that maybe just the top 100, 200, 300, maybe even more, top 400 games, because we all know Switch eShop is just filled with games, some better than others. Maybe he's right with just a certain amount of games coming over. Certainly a possibility. Not everyone's gonna be sad if the calculator app is not gonna be available on the eShop. Maybe that's something they consider. I'm slightly leaning towards maybe throughout hardware or throughout emulation. Emulation is a bit iffy. Even the Steam Deck, which is a different topic, but even the Steam Deck isn't really too great with Switch emulation. But I'm leaning towards they're gonna put some kind of chip, some kind of hardware into the new Switch. It's just moving on, where they can move on from the Tegra X1, mostly because of piracy, not just because of power. And they're gonna put something in there, a chip. I can run this. I'm gonna. Oh boy. Sorry. Just to end this, shoutouts to RGT. I think his fears are valid. I just think it's ignoring a little bit of stuff that's, to me, obvious business sense. He's right. Follow the money. In my opinion, the money says the most likely thing is that it's gonna be backwards compatible. Don't know if I'm gonna post this. I just had to record this rant instead of just shouting it into the void while playing Metroid Prime Remastered. I'm probably just gonna upload this as is. Tag RGT. He's gonna watch it, not watch it. Just gonna say, I appreciate your content. Hope you're doing well with your health stuff and whatever. And yeah, good luck selling the whole your whole collection. I'm looking forward to that. And yeah, remember, I'm not a YouTuber.